The City of Lights, Las Vegas Speedway, is the host of the race here for the AWSCO Continental Series. The big, the big thing about Vegas is having the best round of fuck. That's true. Every driver needs to have the best amount of fuck, but most importantly, they need to have the most amount of speed they need for the race here today at this 1.5 mile short track.
Short
Short
track?
track, fuck. You can tell I'm still
Speedway.
sick.
My
You
brother
can
is.
tell I'm still sick, by the way. Um, But yeah, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, one of the best tracks I think in the entire league. We're going to be watching an absolute banger of a race today, and I think we're going to have a lot of passing. We're going to have some green flag pit stops, which are going to be super optimal to whoever wins this race, especially towards the end. If we go green towards the end of this race,
Yeah, I think this racetrack I think is a little bit more. This track isn't going to be as strategic as the likes of Nazareth, where we saw a lot of tire strategy play into a role. This is the first of quite a few intermediate tracks that we'll be tackling on the schedule. So I think this is going to be a pretty important race for all these teams. Just making sure that they have all their equipment dialed in and their equipment dialed in, and all the drivers are going to get quite familiarized here with the art of racing at one of the most common types of tracks in the schedule. So I think this one's going to be an interesting indicator of which teams are going to be strong, which teams are going to be a little bit further behind as the season goes on.
yeah, I believe this will be one of the first real tests of our drivers' true sense of speed, especially at tracks like this and short tracks that will be able to show just what kind of capabilities these drivers have. Because honestly, at super speedways and at road courses, you can't normally tell what the average of these drivers' speed is because those are a lot more gimmicky of tracks than which you would find at a normal homegrown 1.5 mile or short track. So a track like this is a great opportunity to see what kind of strength these drivers have so far this season.
Yeah, and especially if you look at the tracks that we've run so far, I think in terms of the first race being at Daytona, the second race being at Nashville Super Speedway, the third race being at Nazareth, those aren't exactly tracks that you can really take specific lessons from and kind of apply it to other parts of the schedule. They're all kind of unique challenges in and of itself. But I think with Las Vegas, the challenge is going to be more or less seeing what you can take from this track and apply to other racetracks in the schedule. As of course, we're going to see quite a lot of these speedway kind of tracks as the season goes on. I think I've said that enough times by now that this is kind of an important race for every team, just to make sure, get a gauge on where the equipment is.
Really is a real test of where these cars stand throughout their performance, throughout their reliability, all that stuff, and especially reliability in this Vegas heat. That'll be a downer on those engines for sure. They'll definitely be pushed to the limit tonight here at Vegas, but hopefully we'll be able to see some great action. The theme of the city in general is gambling. Gambling on pit stops is definitely going to be a bit of a theme for this race as well if we manage to see some green flag pit stops.
Yeah, you mentioned mechanical gremlins, and that hasn't been as much of an issue, I think, with the Continental series. It's definitely been a running theme in the last few Cup Series races. Lots of attrition, some through wrecks, some through mechanical issues. So I think teams are gonna want to kind of mature their tech here, kind of make sure that you cut down on these mechanical failures, because as the season goes on, that's going to be what's expected. You don't want to have mechanical gremlins going half a season, through, because that's going to derail the kind of momentum you really gonna have. And
Besides
speaking,
that,
yeah,
I'd
and
also want to watch those restarts as well because those restarts are going to get kind of crazy before when we get started. But once they get through the restarts, I think they're going to be just fine and they're going to be able to cruise on, have a long green flag run, and get to the gambling on those pit stops, like I mentioned.
yeah, definitely. And I think we can move to our talk about our starting grid now. Our front row is Luxakuma and Jet Bracket. Luxakuma, who has had a bit of a rocky start of the season. She didn't qualify for the first race. Ran pretty well in both of the next races, but had all sorts of problems going in both of those races. So she's running a. She's still sitting kind of in the lower midfield in points, 26th. Not bad, but not great. I think definitely a opportunity here for the Inverness cars to do well. And any final comments, Jeff?
I say have at it, I guess. We're going to take it to the booth for the starting lineup for the race.
Alrighty. Hello everyone. Let me get this stream set up properly. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Here for the fourth.
To your cars.
We're here for the fourth race of the AWSCO Continental Series, the AWSCO Snapdragon Continental Series season. I'm joined by Liam, who you were in the booth for the Clash. You're going to be in the booth here.
Yeah.
What are you expecting for this race from Las Vegas? What do you think the big storylines are going to be? Who do you think will have the edge early, and do you think that will matter late or not?
I mean, one of the big common themes when it comes to these 1.5 mile racetracks is clean air, and getting out front is definitely like early, being on the front row starting this race. Great way to have an advantageous position once we start coming into the pit cycles. But again, it's going to be pit stops. You just got to make sure that you're in a strategic position where you can get out. They mentioned it in the pre-race show, but Vegas is going to be about a gamble tonight. Sometimes that pit road gamble is going to give you that edge that's going to, get you in a good position where you'll have that clean air and you can make those passes late in the race. So to start off, I'm looking at the guys at the front, but I mean, it's anybody's game. Anybody's game tonight.
Absolutely, and it'll be very interesting to see how this race ends up proceeding and how the different stages from the beginning to the end. All right, let's look at the starting grid. Row number 1, it's Lux Akuma on the pole, alongside Jet Brackett in the 66. Akuma got that 1 point towards the championship for winning the pole, and we'll see if she can pick up any more points. Row 2, Lulu Kani in the 44. Great qualifying effort for the Hawaiian driver. She's alongside Reina Munoz in the 7. Row 3, the 38 of Isabella Fitzmaurice is alongside Daytona winner Freya von Lundquist, who's in the 42. Row 4, the 96 of Lynn Oswell starts alongside the 60 of Jennifer Wilson. Row 5, it's the 25 of Kathy Ableton Perez alongside the 62 of Vinnie Schultz. Row 6, the 45 of Liz Roberts is alongside the 35 of Krista Andresen. Row 7, the 22 Naomi Davenport, who had a pretty good run, top 10 run at Nazareth last week, alongside the 10 of Eliza Evergreen. Row 8, the 54 of Brenda Davis, alongside the 8 of Kate Summers. Row 9, it's the 46 Shizzy Min and the 11 of Takamoto Aya, who managed to qualify for this race after missing the last 2. Row 10, the 64 of Mayumi Moriyama, alongside the 26 of Robin Morales. Row 11, the 12 of Jackie Kennedy, alongside the 84 of Casper Von Weber. Row 13, the 0 of Hieda Yoko, and the 88 of Madison Estrada. In row 14, the 2 Rachel Ramos, last week's pole sitter, alongside the 95 of Cara Reynolds. In row 15, the 70... This is actually row 14. It's the 40 of Lara Sundale, last week's winner at Nazareth, and the 81 of Alice Hageman. Row 15, the 78 of Lexi Rockwood, making her first start in a couple weeks after also failing to qualify for the last couple races, alongside the 24 of Ashley Johnson. Row 16, the 93 Izzy Oberman, Nashville winner, alongside the 31 of Laurie Ramirez. Row 17 is the 15 of Isabella Smith and the 4 of Cassidy Jones. Row 18, the 14 of Katrin Edelstein and the 99 of Karina Willis-Callaway. And row 19, the 16 of Leah Azelhard and the 55 of Deborah Williams. So here at Vegas, tough race, very tough racetrack, very difficult track for these drivers. I mean, what do you expect? Do you think we're gonna see some real aggression early on, or do you think they're gonna try and take it easy?
I mean, I mentioned this when I was on the pre-race panel for. No, I wasn't on the pre-race panel for Nazareth. I forget which track I mentioned this at, but there's a lot of aggression that comes with running a brand new track, and these a lot of these tracks at the start of the season are going to be brand new for everybody. We saw this at Nazareth with all those aggressive moves in the middle of the race. We saw it in Cup at Calder Park, even Daytona. I mean, we saw a huge accident, and there were a lot of drivers who just didn't know how to slow down. So this is going to be another one of those tracks where it's going to be sort of a learning game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some aggression first. I mean, I know when I'm in sim race, like when I do my sim race and stuff, I'm a lot more confident with the mile and a half than I should be, and sometimes that works to my detriment. I don't know how that translates to the actual race car, but these ladies might try and get aggressive with it, and it could pay off. It could not. So yeah, I mean, I expect to see some aggression just because everybody's so new to this, but I don't know when it could happen in the race.
Well, we've just gotten the command to fire the engines, so we're about to get racing here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You got an early pick for this race win, or?
I had mentioned earlier it's anybody's game. I'm gonna have to see how they run the track in a group, like actually run at race pace, to see who could really be an early favorite. So I mean, again, it's anybody's game. I'm excited to see how they handle this speedway.
What are we doing? Okay.
Drivers, start your engine!
Drivers,
Let's try that again.
to your cars.
I'm like, why is the pace car staying on the track? Because the 26 blew its brakes before we even started the race. Great start. Alright, well, let's try this again. It's Akuma and Brackett that are going to start on the front row. The Inverness racing car alongside the Gulf racing car. But it's really anyone's game up front here. Pace car is off. And these two at the front will get us going. Green flag is out. We are racing from Las Vegas.
Nobody really with a strong jump. I mean, it was dead even coming across the line. They're still dead even in turns 1 and 2 here.
And they're starting to fan out 3 wide and the further back in the group. Here comes the 38 of Fitzmaurice looking to the inside, trying to make up some ground. Get underneath the 44 of Lulu Connie. Gotta be careful coming off of turn 4. That corner narrows up a lot tighter than it looks like it does. But Lux Akuma will lead that first lap. Brackett really slipped back on the top side.
They were almost 4 wide coming down the front straightaway there.
They were 4 wide for a bit there, but they managed to sort it out. I mean, you just gotta be really careful exiting turn 4 here. But so far,
that turn 4 exit here at Las Vegas, I mean, it's a struggle for even some of the best oval racing drivers in the world. So really got to be careful around there.
Here comes the 38. Isabella Fitzmaurice looking to the inside for the race lead. Is she going to get the pull off the corner?
Oh,
They're
trouble.
around as they're coming back to the caution. Shizzy Min in the 46. Oh, what are we doing?
We got
95
more
is
trouble on
around.
the inside.
93.
Caution waves for the first time today. And it was on the exit of 4. We were just talking about that. Track narrowed up, they squeezed together, and it was around they went.
Looks like the 93 has a little bit of side damage, but well, we're gonna have some split strategy. The tires, we've been told, have quite a bit of wear this weekend, so We will make note of that. So we're gonna see some drivers, take some split strategy here. We did manage to run about 4 laps under the green flag though before the caution comes out. So a lot of cars coming into pit road here. We'll see.
Taking tires early. I don't know if that's just to measure sort of.
And it looks like a few of these cars just took a splash. So the 54 was involved in that. What was that?
They narrowed up off of 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 7 drifts up high, runs out of room, gets into the 60, and then it's on from there.
And then the 95 and the 93 down there.
Surprising that nobody else got a piece of that.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised that that was only about there was only those 4 cars.
Got a report about the pit stops down on pit road. Data, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm seeing the cars come down pit road. Yeah, it was a lot of adjustments and stuff. Remind me, were they on pit? Were they able to practice much, or?
Yeah, they get 15. They get 15 minutes of practice.
Yeah.
They got 15 minutes.
I saw
of
a lot of
practice.
adjustments on pit road, but that's pretty much all I've seen. But yeah.
All right.
Tires, fuel, and adjustments. Maybe some teams just not happy with the setup on those first few laps. Coming down, getting it fixed up, getting it in the fastest possible. There's a pole. Fastest way they can get those cars going so that they are ready to go for the rest of this race.
Well, you did see that early lead change. The 38 got past the 6 there. In practice, the outside lane looked very strong. So far in the race, it has not looked as strong as I think a lot of us thought it would be. The 38 was able to make a big move there on the inside of the racetrack to take the race lead, and she actually made out quite a few spots to get up there. But it is Izzy Fitzmaurice up at the front of the field, as the lights are now out on the pace car.
No surprise, nobody out of the race yet.
Yeah, nobody's out of the race. That incident wasn't big enough to take out anyone. Again, just remember, we don't have a minimum speed clock here at this track. We won't actually see that minimum speed clock again till Pensacola, which is the regular season finale. But for those who are unfamiliar and are only tuning in for the first time since Daytona, these tracks like this, we don't have a minimum speed rule.
No, I mean, the super speedways with the draft, the minimum speed obviously important because if a lap car gets in your way, you lose everything. This race, draft is important, but I mean, it's not as important. And despite this track being really narrow like Daytona, there's still room to move around and you can make a pass on the top, you can make a pass on the bottom on a lap car. So no need to really disqualify any lap cars for being slow here.
Pace car's off. We're going to go back to green here on lap number 8. Green flag is out. And a pretty solid jump by the 38. The 62 of Benny Schultz had some contact in that incident, but looked okay. She looked okay afterwards, and I think she looks okay on track now. Here comes the 42 of Freya von Lundqvist. Look at the inside of the 6 of Akuma. And what I'm going to be...
Two Chevys, your top 4.
And what I'm going to be most curious about right now What are those cars that just came down pit road? What are they going to be up to here? Like, how much of a benefit are they going to get?
Some of the tires, some of them just fuel. A bunch of them made adjustments on pit road. Could be the cars that didn't pit. I mean, 38 was leading, didn't pit. Could just be confident in how the car's running, didn't need to come down and make adjustments.
Saw the 38 use the highline to her advantage right there.
That was the block on the bottom. Now she's blocking 2 lanes at the same time.
Yeah, the draft is going to matter here, especially when it comes down to the fastest lap. We're going 3 wide. The 6 is looking outside. The 42 is looking to the inside. The 38's in the middle right now. The 6 is going to drop back.
38 couldn't get clear off of turn 2 there up at the top. Managed to get clear this time. That's going to open the door for the 42 to take the lead.
Ooh.
Chris Vince going to watch up. Try and find a spot to just slot in with the rest of the field. 6 drops down low, crosses over, tries to take the lead on the inside.
Big run for Akuma, who started on pole for this race. Is going to battle with that 42, but the 42 is going to have the lead at the line. Here comes the 96, diving at 3 wide to the inside. Backs off. And here comes Vinny Schultz in the 62. She's got a great run. And her teammate is up there as well, because the 6 and the 62, those both being Inverness racing cars. Oh, around goes Summers.
And that's, I see Rockwood spinning in front of the field. That's a lot of cars. Oh, and at the back of the field, too, more cars piled in. 54.
The 99's in it. That was, I think that was a lot smaller than it looked. I think a fair few of those cars just kind of slowed up just to not run into them. I think everyone is going to come to pit road now. But that's a lot of damaged cars that we're going to have.
I'm going to see the 10 car with damage there. Further up. Everybody comes back down pit lane.
And now everyone's on pit road.
62.
So we're going to see who's going to win the race out. 62 gets the race out. Looks like she took 2 tires on that pit stop. It's a bit of an interesting move.
Strategy here. 38, I just saw 4 tires.
Bit of a gamble on the 62's part.
We are in Vegas.
We are in Vegas, so it's fitting. It is the FanDuel Sportsbook 300. Well, let's see what happened.
Started with the 8 car. Right up at the front of the field here.
It starts up here. Just kind of a squeeze coming off 4. Oh, the 31 just hooks the 8 into the 64 Moriyama.
78 got cleaned out on the bottom lane in front of the field.
The 10 runs into it. 45 comes down into the 78.
And what happened at the back to involve the 54 and 99?
They might have just plowed into it. Well, there's the 54. What happened to the 99? Oh, jeez.
Hard shot into the 8 car.
That's 2 straight weeks for Kate Summers where she's taking a tough
Pretty
impact.
nasty hit.
Yeah. Remember back to Nazareth when got cleaned out driver's side, had to go to the hospital after that race. Thankfully, she was okay.
It's another visit back to the infield care center for Kate Summers.
And that's the second straight week that Willis Calloway and Summers have been involved in a wreck together. Data, what do you got down there on pit road?
Just the thoughts from the 62 team. They were talking about clean air, and he went, "It's early. We might as well try this 2-tire stop," and that's why they did it. To get the clean air you guys been talking about.
So the 99, 54, and 8 out of the race with accident. Two cautions early here in this one from Las Vegas. Aggression's high here. You think we're going to keep seeing the aggression stay high, or do you think they're going to think better on this and kind of back off for a little bit?
I hope they think better of it and they back off, but you know, you never know with these young fields of race car drivers, and sometimes it's just go until you can't go anymore. So there's gonna be a lot of beat up cars who probably won't be as aggressive, but don't be surprised if you see the folks at the front of the field keep that aggression up.
All right, Vinny Schultz is the leader. Data talked about the clean air being out in front of the field, and that's what Vinny has, so we'll see what she's able to do with it. Green flag. Back to racing. And the 66.
Start. Whoa, hang on a minute. I was going to say, pretty even start for the front of the field. The 66 managed to get a jump on the inside into turn 1 this time. Good fanning out.
And here comes the 42 of Von Lundquist. So those two cars that kind of went for a bit of a different strategy coming out of pit road, they aren't going to be able to hold the front. It's going to go right back to Freya Von Lundquist. Well, I say that, but here comes the 66 with a big run. Good to the inside. Still really got to be careful off of turn 4 there. Every time I see them come off that corner, I'm worried.
.38 with a look on the inside. She's going to go down there on the back straightaway.
This race is going to have help from the 42. Oh, 42 backed off on it, though. 66 is going to have the high lane. And that lane is the stronger lane normally, but 38's doing a pretty solid job holding her own down there. You might see him, I think you're going to see that the inside lane's going to be a little stronger in 3 and 4, but the outside's going to be better in 1 and 2.
Turn 4. The field's starting to chill out a bit more. We got 2 cars wide instead of 3 coming out of 4.
Here, remember
Smart
the
decision.
10 was involved in that accident? She's still up here in the top 10.
I thought she had some front end damage.
Yeah.
On the pit lane. Team got that fixed.
I mean, you know
Got the
who else?
sledgehammer out.
Still running pretty solidly. The 78, Lexi Rockwood. She's up
78
here.
took a couple.
She's
78
actually
took a couple hard hits in that wreck too. So.
she's hanging on to the draft right now. She's hanging on to this lead group. Fitzmaurice is going to take the lead at the line. We'll see if she can hold on to it. They're really tight. And when they go 3 wide like this, that's when it starts to worry me, because with how tight the exit of 4 is, it's
Just always makes you a little worried. We've only lost 3 cars, though. There's only 3 cars that are off the lead lap, which is there's only 3 cars off the lead lap, which are also all retired. Summers, Davis, and Willis Callaway.
31, very slow, already 18 seconds off the leaders.
Yeah, that car is going to be one that they got to negotiate, but...
He said no minimum speed here, so it's going to be a matter of getting around that car.
Yep. I mean, she's trying her best. Isabella Fitzmaurice, though, the Quebecois driver, out front of Freya von Lundqvist, the Daytona winner. Maybe Fitzmaurice has a little bit of experience on these kind of tracks. She's run in the LSCI Amateur Series. She runs at some pretty similar tracks to this one. Hey, I'd also like to point out Jackie Kennedy running in 4th, maybe 3rd now. She looks underneath the 6 of Luxacuma. They're catching the 31 really quickly. They're running about 2 seconds a lap faster than that 31 right now. That 31 is not very fast right now. Gonna hold up the field. Ooh, that's tight. 42's looking underneath 38, but 38 has the high line. And is going to be able to maintain the lead.
Look at that 12 car. We haven't seen her at the front in this front 5 yet, and she's worked her way up to 3rd. 42 trying the inside again.
Now the 12 goes with her. Now the 12 steps it 3 wide, in 3 wide. Oh, the 12 with a daring move here. And it's gonna pay off. As Kennedy did lead that lap. Just a reminder that we do have there is a battle for the NordVPN fastest lap. Right now, Deborah Williams currently holds that with a 28.586 on the board. Here comes Liz Roberts in the 45, who's who missed the last 2 races. And I mean, you know, for those cars that are damaged, I mean, not a lot of them look particularly hurt aside from that 31. Like, everybody else looks pretty alright. They're at least keeping pace, which is a good sign. These cars are still built to continue to be fast, even if they're damaged.
Thin out single file in the top 4, but it's 3 wide for 5th almost there.
I think it is going to be 3.
6 now.
I know the
Huge run up
62
the
backed
middle
out.
from a 35.
62 backed out there. Comes Cara Reynolds in the 95. And Fitzmaurice looks for the lead once more. Been a lot of action up front. But it's the 2 Quebec drivers, Isabella Fitzmaurice and Jackie Kennedy, who lead the field right now.
Side by side, the line Fitzmaurice gets it that time.
And they're trailed by the Daytona winner, the Dane Freya von Lundquist, who sits third. Liz Roberts, fourth. Madison Estrada is fifth. Estrada having pretty solid run considering how her season's gone. Krista Andresen in sixth. It's Luxakuma, Eliza Evergreen, Vinnie Schultz, and at the line last time it was Cara Reynolds who had that 10th position, but right now she's battling with Hieta Yoko for that spot. 12 car looks to the inside on the 38. 42 looks to the inside on all three of them.
Backs out though. Back
Yeah,
to
they all
single
backed
file.
out. They all backed out to single file.
I mean, they've seen how 3 wide has gone coming off of 4. Might have been in their best interest this early in the race to just let it go.
And Yoko in the 0 car doing a pretty solid job. I mean, there's her, and her teammate Mayumi Moriyama kind of stuck in the back of the field right now. She got involved in that last incident, but I mean, the 64 doesn't look too badly hurt right now. Continued battling up front, though. Kennedy and Fitzmaurice right now look like the class of the field. And the 42 once again looks inside 3 wide, and this time I think she's going to go for it.
She does stick it that time. She gets a bit of grip, and so does the 12 car. 38's going to back out on the top.
Ooh.
Oh, bit of contact with the 45.
Roberts and Fitzmaurice got really close.
And it's still side by side for the lead between the 12 and the 42.
12's going to hang on to it. 42, I think, is going to get a big run, though, off of turn 4.
Straight to the inside lane with that run. You're going to touch down under the apron. Use up all the speed she can.
Yeah, but the
And
12's just got
backs
that
out
run.
in turn 1. 12's got the run in the middle. You also just gotta wonder how the racing lane's gonna be affected as tires start to wear out here.
I mean, yeah, we're already seeing the tires kind of wear out. I mean, we've already lost a second on the tire wear.
Two looks back to the inside.
And
Tries to make
42 is
it
going to have her
stick.
teammate helping her because Krista Anderson has moved up here. I mean, we have 2 Quebec drivers and 2 Danish drivers at the front. And then Madison Estrada is also here representing California. Kind of the odd one out right now, as here comes the 42. They're closing in on lapping the 31 again here. 35 decides to go with the 12.
88 up to 4th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Estrada looking pretty
Thought
solid.
they were
in
going to
the-
go 3 wide there, but the 45 slotted in behind the 38.
Yeah, they're going to lap this 31 another time here. See if the 42 can try and use that to her advantage. When they do get to the 31 here, maybe the 42 is going to try to put the 12 behind her. I think that's exactly what she's trying to do. Yes! Was able to get that done.
Oh, look out for that lap car.
Oh, they hung on to it, at the
Somehow
very
kept
least.
it clean.
Yeah, that 31 is just trying to... That 31's just trying to run laps.
Trying to survive.
It's
We
trying
saw
to-
this out of the 71 car in the Cup race at Calder Park. Doesn't matter how fast you are, just hope that the rest of the field has issues and you can steal some points away from everybody else.
I know what the 2 did last week at Nazareth as well. She was off the pace, she lost a cylinder, but managed to nurse it home to, I think, a top 20 finish. Despite being down a couple cylinders. I guess it was kind of helped at Nazareth by the fact that that track doesn't really require a ton of engine power.
No, that track is a lot shorter than this one. This one requires a bit more throttle. We had a car in the grass.
Somebody went through the grass, apparently. I mean,
Didn't bring out a yellow, so.
yeah, it didn't bring out a yellow. We're going to have to go back and look for that one now. When we get the chance.
$35, looking to the inside on the 42. Lets up though, slots back in line.
They're all single filed out. I thought they were actually under caution, but no, they just all lined up like that.
The 8 steps out.
I think this will get a little more interesting though once we start to see green flag stops.
42 looking to the inside for the lead.
Yep, there goes that 42. Dives it down into 1. She got a great run into the corner. I think she's gonna get the lead off. Just barely clear.
Barely clears the 12. $35, gonna try and follow her teammate on the inside here.
Could be a McMillan 1-2 now out front. Alexi Rockwood's moved up to 15th. Actually not looking too bad in the 78 car that has some, yeah, I think has a little bit of damage, but...
She was spun down in front of the field in that big wreck there. Somehow managed to get away with enough, with damage enough that they fixed it up, and now she's running faster than her teammate. Robin Morales in the 26 being a few positions behind her.
And she might get past the 62 here. So Kennedy's still out front. I mean, that 12 has looked like the strongest car in this early run. Comes the 10 of Eliza Evergreen. Kind of pushing her way up top through the field here. Cara Reynolds in the 95 as well, battling with Liz Roberts in the 45. Cara Reynolds, who started the season with back-to-back 9th place finishes. There's 2 drivers in the field right now who have finished top 10 in every race so far. And those drivers are Cara Reynolds, who's in the 95, and the other one is Mayumi Moriyama in the 64. Reynolds looking like she's on another run, on another top 10 run in this one. Both teams gotten some great momentum. Hey, he had a Yoko impressing as well up here at the front. The 0 car has been pushing her way through. Just slowly, methodically working her way up through the field. And now the 0's up here along with the 25 of Kathy Ableton Perez.
Couple, few Hondas up here now.
Yeah, that's 3 Hondas. All right here at the front of the field. In the top 7 positions. Rockwood's still fighting with Schultz, that for the 14th position.
Was up top, crossing down low, trying to pass her. I don't know how strong that inside's going to be with these tires wearing out.
And now the tires have really started to wear down, because we're running about 30.3, so we're about a second and a half off. About a second and a half off of our fast lap times, and it's only gonna get worse until they come down pit road. Jeff, what do you got down there on pit road?
Well, I've had to run all the way down here on pit road. Apparently, our original pit reporter melted away and has gone into the sewers as he has been evaporated into a liquid, but I'm here to replace him. But currently, since we're having this really long green flag run right now, these drivers are they're eagerly anticipating their next stop on pit road. And these pit crews are as well. So they are trying to figure out when this pit cycle will begin, and we're going to see our first cycle of green flag pit stops as these drivers will make their way on the pit road. So we're going to take you back to the booth right now, and we'll see how the rest of this green flag run goes for these drivers.
Well, we wish our pit reporter well and hope he recovers from that serious injury. You never like hearing that. But up at the front,
I knew it was hot in Las Vegas. I didn't know it was that hot. Damn.
up at the front, none of these drivers are melting away. It's Jackie Kennedy out leading. And here comes the zero. Kieta Yoko really starting to make move through the field. Remember, she started pretty far back on the restart, and now she's up into fourth. She was looking for second there for a little bit, but
38 looks to the inside of the zero. Same time, 35 looks to the inside of the 42. 12 still leads us here.
ooh, zero goes 3 wide bottom. And ooh, wow, just barely able to get out.
Zero might go for the lead here.
Yeah, she's looking for it. Ooh, here she goes.
Side by side with the 12 car. She hang on to it. It's going to be really close at the line here.
Oh, I don't know. 12 car got it according to scoring.
I'd love to know how close that was exactly.
Now let's check. 0.011. Pretty close.
Pretty close to the line. The zero ended up taking over in turn 1 with the advantage on the inside there.
So Hieta Yoko now out front. I mean, that zero has driven through the field here. Jeff, I heard you have something on pit road?
Yeah, I got something right now. The number 16 car has had an issue recently. We don't know exactly what is wrong with that 16 car, but they are clearly off the pace right now, especially after being involved in that previous crash. They apparently are having issues with the engine of that car, but it looks like they're not going to have a very good race as if they already weren't having a good race. But right now, things are not looking good for that 16 team. They look to finish this race, but they'll be on severely lowered pace compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, if you look at the pace that car is running, that car is nowhere near top speed on the straightaways, so looking like some kind of engine issue. That car's not even hitting 170 down the straightaways, yeah.
Another one of those cars just trying to stay on track, survive, trying to score some points, banking on later issues.
And I mean, if you're Jackie Kennedy, I mean, are you worried about that? Because that's your teammate in the 16.
Potentially, I mean, yeah, your engines are coming from the same shop. If you've got an engine issue in your car, there's obviously that concern that, or your teammate's got an engine issue in their car. The concern's going to arise that potentially that's a problem with both your engines. But I mean, it hasn't seemed to slow down the 12 at all. Still fighting for the lead here.
Also, like to point out Ashley Johnson in the 24 having a pretty solid run. She finished third at Nashville a couple weeks ago. And ever since her miserable weekend at Daytona, she's really had a pretty strong recovery since then. Obviously, she wasn't able to finish out last week's race. She ended up 29th at Nazareth, but looking like a top 10 driver today. As she's battling with the 95 and 45. Hey, I mean, now this strong car is looking like the 0 of Pieta Yoko. I mean, the 12 led a lot early there, but now the 0 made her way through the field and has not really looked back since she got the lead.
Over a quarter of the way through this race now. It's everybody sort of coasting, trying to get the pit stops now. Nothing too aggressive happening on the racetrack.
I mean, if you're the 62 here, what are you feeling about that 2-tire stop? Like they went with 2 tires, and then we got this long run, and that car just has not been able to keep with everybody else here.
And I mean, sometimes, especially with a lot of those cars that got involved in wrecks, there could have been some issues with cars in front of you on the restart that ended up slowing you down. Once you fall off of that main drafting group, it's just sort of hanging on and trying to get whatever positions you can.
We're really seeing them spread out now here in this stage of the races. I had a couple early cautions, but ever since about lap 20, we've been green pretty much the whole way through. Or about lap 15, I guess. We've been pretty much green since that point. And I mean, the big thing is going to be, I think we're going to probably see green flag pit stops fairly soon. These cars can run about 70 laps in terms of fuel mileage.
And we had that caution on lap, 15? So we're coming up on that pit cycle anytime between now and lap 85.
Yep.
I mean, there's some cars as well that, took a splash of fuel on the first stop and 2 tires on the second one. So no real telling what each team is dealing with in terms of strategy. There were so many different stops in those first 2 yellows.
64 is down. '64 is on pit road. It appears to not be a scheduled stop. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. You got something down there?
Yep, 64 car just came down pit road with a tire issue. seems to be a bad break for them, but actually could be, well, maybe not considering they're taking a long time on pit road. But if they had gotten that fixed in a decent amount of time, they would have been potentially on cycle with the rest of the leaders, so it wouldn't have set them back too far. But it looks like they're going to go a lap down now. Their chances of doing well in this race are pretty much over.
Well, unfortunate for that team, which came in as the points leader. And for Moriyama, it looks like it'll have to be another day for them. But for her teammate Yoko, out in front of this field, I mean, the Zero looking really, really strong in this one. But right now, it really looks like the only driver that's going to be keeping that top 10 streak going, that's even really got a chance of keeping that top 10 streak going, is going to be the 95 Akara Reynolds, who's sitting in 11th right now. Might take a bit of luck for that, but we'll see what goes on, as these cars have caught the 16, who... Obviously, the 16 is off the pace. Comes a big run for the 12. See the 38 looking underneath the 88 of Madison Estrada. I mean, ever since the early cautions, it's been pretty calm since then. I mean, you thinking that they've just kind of calmed down? They kind of just want to settle in at this point?
I'd say, yeah, just sort of drive around, be in a decent condition, come down pit lane. And especially some of these cars look like they're putting some space between themselves and the cars in front and behind. You know, if you slow down, the car behind you doesn't, you want to have at least some room for them to get out of the way. So I think everyone's sort of just getting ready for when they need to come down pit road here.
Oh, the 25 and 10 are still battling. The 25 took the spot away from the 10, but the 10 ended up cycling back ahead. Here's a battle. I believe this is for 11th. That's Reynolds, Rockwood, Akuma, Jones, and Ramos back here. But it is still Yoko who's out in front. Jeff, do you have any news?
Not the drivers that have been involved in the recent accidents. Everyone has been checked and released from the care center in great condition. Kate Summers probably has been in better condition, but especially in recent races. But they're out, and they said they're all right. They're going to attempt the next race, but hopefully they don't get into any more bad accidents like that. Because if they take one more, I don't think they'll be racing all the races this season. But everyone's clear from the care center. Back to you guys.
It's good to hear, especially after last week.
Yeah,
obviously
Summers has taken multiple hard hits in a row. I mean, she had that incident last week where she had to go to a local hospital. They cleared her, released her that night. She ended up racing in Australia the next day, actually. Funny enough.
She came back today, ran about 15 laps, and it was back to the care center, but checked and released. Obviously, a little black and blue after these past 2 weeks, but good to see everybody's all right after there were a few hard hits there. Yeah, we're coming lap 80 now. We're getting to where pit cycle should be starting soon.
Yeah, we're approaching the pit window. And I think these cars kind of trying to run it as long as they can, but at a point, there's going to be a point that you reach where
we have a car
the
on
64
pit lane.
is on pit road. That's the 22, excuse me. That appears to be scheduled, so...
That pit cycle might have begun as we spoke it into existence, though.
Yeah, we're going to see some cars come down. 14, 16, 55, 60, 7, 93, and the 11 are in. The 12 cars
12's
coming in. We're going to see a bit of a... I think we're going to see a pretty wide pit window here, considering the tire fall-off that we're seeing. I mean, these cars have lost about 2 seconds on... These cars have lost about 3 seconds now in terms of tire fall-off, so...
And
66,
Jeff, what do you got?
62, 26, 15 are all in.
Jeff, what do you got for us on pit lane, but this pit cycle here?
Bunch of cars coming in for 4 tires and fuel. Most of them saying their grip is about right. They don't really need as much as tournament adjustments. Really, just most drivers, if they're having any adjustments at all, they're complaining about tightness in the car. Really, they're only worried about further restarts and any more chaos happening in turn 4. But right now, they're loving this single file racing, double file racing right now, where they're a bit more free from each other, free from any problems. But here comes the Zero on pit road, the fastest car all day, 4 tires and fuel, looking to get back out there and continue leading some more laps at the end of this one.
35 of Krista Anderson took the lead. She's coming to pit road now. 38 is going to follow. I think those are the last cars to pit. Zero car gets out. 18.25. Bit of a slow stop.
A bunch of cars coming around here.
A bit of a slow stop for the Zero. I mean, yeah, that if you the early pitters are gonna get a big jump here. So we're gonna see where it's gonna cycle out lead-wise. But the 35 is out. 38's following her out. I believe the 12 is gonna cycle out to the lead. But the 78 gained like 10 positions.
We got 2 cars with damage who have gained a lot of positions. 10 also had damage earlier.
Yeah.
Run 3rd right now.
I mean, this has got to feel good if you're Lexi Rockwood to run up here. I mean, considering she missed the last couple races.
Didn't finish at Daytona, so first real solid run from that 78 team here.
I know, yeah, sure you like to see that, Liam.
I'm an unbiased commentator. Unbiased commentator.
That's your team. That's your team and all.
It is, but I try to remain unbiased up in the booth.
Still, top 3 earliest pitters, and unsurprisingly, the earliest pitters are the ones that come out front after the pit cycle. But I mean, it might not stay that way. 35 still in the top 10.
We still got one more set of pit stops coming up, and it's going to be a late one. So anything can happen in the next. Where did we go? We went 70 laps almost.
62 and 15. That's Vinnie Schultz and Isabella Smith battling for position right here. Fighting for the 18th spot.
Yeah, with a 70-lap pit cycle and us being, over 100 laps to go, we still got one more stop, and that could flip things on its head. So being out front after the first.
They only made it about 65, to be fair.
Yeah. Being out the first cycle doesn't really mean much, but if you can get a good solid grasp on when to pit in a good spot, then that second stop's going to be the crucial one.
Yeah, especially if we go green to the end of this one. And this group is kind of bunched up here. There's 88 and 42 and the 25 have all closed in now.
Big cluster of cars.
12 still out front, but I mean, there's going to be a bit of a challenge here because the 88, 42, and 25 have all looked like cars that are that are setting the pace in this one so far. Rockwood and Evergreen do pretty solid for what they've gone through in this race, but
yeah, I mean that goes to show. I mean, even if you do get involved in a wreck, these are some pretty tough race cars. As long as the team gets it fixed up and the engine's not damaged, you can get back out there and you can run up front. 78, I think, is the first Ford we've really seen up front today as well. So
yeah. Yoko and the 0 right here in the battling with Anderson for 7th right now. Celine Oswell as well up here, and another interesting name here to point out, Cassidy Jones. First real experience here at 1.5 miles for her. Doing pretty solid, the 17-year-old running in 11th, and I think she'll be in the top 10 at the end of this lap. She'll get by the 2 of Ramos.
Yeah, great showing from Cassie. I saw when we were checking on the, hate to bring it up, but we were checking on the 78 car back in 15th. She was running around there, and I mean, she's been consistently running sort of in the middle bit of this pack. Could be a car to watch as we get later into this race.
And yeah, these cars have kind of gone by the 10 and the 78 now, so the 88 and the 42 and the 25 now up here. Quite a few Hondas up here now. It looked like a Toyota show early on in the race, but it's become a bit of a mixed bag, but mostly Hondas up front right now. Because they're going to catch the 16 once again, who the 16 having that issue earlier. Off the pace, just kind of trying to make laps at the moment. And the 0 and 35 are kind of starting to gain on this group up here.
I mean, even 3 laps, that 3-lap pit stop difference, that tire wear is going to be really crucial in seeing how these cars, who gets shuffled out to the front. I mean, as well, I mean, those cars, the 0, 35 were up front before, so those are clearly the faster race cars, just didn't really nail it on pit strategy. If they can get back up to the front, they know when to pit next time.
0 is going to get hurt by the 10 having to get by the 16. Yoko will pull by. Been pretty calm ever since those early incidents. Not really very much has happened since then. Not very much wrecking-wise. Racing-wise, I'd say it's been pretty solid.
Down on the apron?
Did you? Oh, yeah, you did. 55 car stopped down there. Don't believe we're gonna get a caution for that. What do you got down there, Geff? On pit road.
55 car just came in, had a big time engine failure. Not sure exactly why, or now I'm just hearing from the executives that there was a suspension issue on that 55 car, but unfortunate for that team. They had to stop on the apron there, which I'm not sure why the officials did not throw a caution for that, but thankfully it was no major issues whatsoever for that car. So we're going to keep on racing, and unfortunately that 55 is going to be out of contention for this race.
All right, well, thank you for that. Tough break for Deborah Williams in the 55. But as we were reporting on that, Madison Estrada got by the 12 and has taken the lead. So the 88 car out front for RGB Racing. And that Honda, as these lap cars are going 3 wide in front of the leaders right now. Getting through the lap traffic now is going to be something that's going to make a big difference in this race. But, I mean, pretty surprisingly, we still have 30 cars in the lead lap. Well, it's going to be more like 26 after this. But still, getting through these lappers is going to be tough.
I think the 78 starting to feel the effects of that damage on the race car now, falling back quite a few. Same with the 10; those cars starting to fall back to the positions they were in before.
I think these cars are falling back because remember these two pitted the earliest. They pitted with the 12, and
early pit strategy.
So they got out in second because they pitted early, but
I think the 7 car was involved in the believe was involved in the first accident for this
The
race.
seven's a lap down.
Oh, seven's a lap down.
Yeah.
I just checked the score bug as that I just checked the ticker as that happened. I'm like, oh, never mind. That car's not in the lead pack.
We're taking the line crossed flags, so that means we are at halfway in this one in the FanDuel Sportsbook 300. It's Jackie Kennedy battling with Madison Estrada for the lead at the moment. This one's gone by pretty quickly, honestly.
Yeah, once the field got those early jitters out, once they got more confident with the track and those first 2 cautions happened, it's been smooth sailing through past 80, almost 80 laps. So we've got, and I mean, there's still plenty of racing left to go, so anything can still happen.
And we're almost a 90 lap green flag run now in this one. Here comes Hieta Yoko in the 0 car. She's going to bring the 35 with her.
3 wide, one of those is a lap car, I believe.
Yeah, that's the 93 of Izzy Oberman.
35, using
Whoa.
about as much racetrack as possible.
42, I thought was going to dive at 3 wide bottom there, but she chose to back off, which honestly probably a smart move. 26 cars now scored on the lead lap. The 22 of Naomi Davenport is listed as the last one.
It was the first car to come into pit lane, but
Yeah.
obviously might be in a disadvantageous track position.
This
where that
car
doesn't
lap
really
down
matter.
is scored as the 93, so if the caution were to come out, then the 93 would be the free pass car.
Ironic, the Aaron's car would be the lucky dog. So you just saw they went past the 31 car yet again.
Yeah, the 31's just kind of trying to run as many laps as she can at this point. She's not exactly fast, but she's doing what she can out there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the 55 park it on the apron. That's another position for the 31. So
Yep.
and points matter here, especially when your position in the championship standings could determine whether you stay or go if you have a bad qualifying lap. So any points that you can get to sort of get you in a better position, a better cushion for a potential bad run in qualifying at any of these tracks is important. So that's why no surprise that these cars with that slower engine, slower car, just trying to stay out and run some laps.
Well, we're halfway through this race, so I think it's time that we take you down to the studio for our FanDuel Fan Studio mid-race report. Rasha, Geff, what do you two have for us as we've reached the halfway point in this one?
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you, Echo.
Thank you, Echo. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my prediction for the race going green all the way has been a lie so far. Obviously, those 2 crashes at the beginning of the race were definitely big dampers on some of those contenders' chances to win this race. But I believe now that we have these drivers all like figuring out their lines. Oh, as I just had an engine expire.
Yeah, I just saw that as well from the studio. That's one of the Fords. That's Lynn Oswald, the 96. That's a big blow to the Dark Horse team, and it seems like a substantial damage failure. Engine failure. I'm pretty sure you'll be down there after our report to comment on whatever was going on at that team. But yeah, I think this race has been a very much a strategy race now as we head for a long green flag run. And I mean, assuming the race goes green for the rest of the way, which is still a pretty strong assumption, I think it's gonna be it's definitely going to be a matter of timing that last pit stop and making sure you don't either come in too early and leave yourself stranded on old tires, or you don't come in too late and leave yourself with not enough time to catch up. Because I think the
90 laps to go left in this event. especially with that engine failure we just saw. Like I said, we've been seeing these mechanical issues that have been taking out more contenders from contention, just like those wrecks we saw at the start of the race. These drivers really don't need another caution, because another caution is going to set them up for a restart, potentially some more chaos in turn 4.
Yeah, I think that exit at turn 4 is still going to be a bit of a bit of a dangerous spot for these guys. Now that they're not running, 3 wide or even side by side as often, it's not going to be as big of a danger. But yeah, it's still going to be something to look out for. If anybody makes a mistake coming out of 4, it's still going to be a good chance that they're going to bring out a caution. That's going to change the entire complexity of the race at this point.
Well, I got to run all the way down to the 96's pit booth, try and report on what was going on with that car. I'll leave it back to our studio host, or actually to our race hosts, and we'll continue on with this event.
Well, thank you down there. I think we gotta go for our FanDuel favorite segment here. We'll let Geff get down to pit road, but Russia, who would you say is your favorite in this one at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I said this in the segment earlier, but I think it's gonna be a matter of timing that last stop. Assuming we go green to the end, it's gonna be about giving yourself enough time to warm up the tires and catch up to the other drivers looking to do the undercut. I think the overcut's gonna be a pretty strong effect here. So I'm gonna go with someone who came in a little later in this first cycle, the 35 of Krista Anderson. She alongside the 0 of Yoko, of course, came in a little bit later. We're starting to see that their pace kind of show up at the end here as they've moved up the pack and are now looking to threaten for the lead once again. Assuming they're working with the same strategy, I think the 35 is going to be one to look out for at the end of the running.
Geff, you got a pick down there?
Honestly, I think that 42 car's got a really good look for the end of this race. That 42 has been fast all race, has been in the top 5 for a majority of this event. I think they have the speed to go on and win the race today.
Liam?
All right, well, I'm going to go with the 12, Jackie Kennedy. She had the earlier stop on that first pit cycle. I think she's kept pace with some of these drivers who took a later stop, and the team can look at that, elect to come in whenever, and that car's going to have pace. As long as that 12 car keeps everything together properly, I could see that 12 taking the win here.
Well, I'm going to go with a bit of a unexpected one. I'm going to take Cassidy Jones in the 4. She's actually closed in on this pack pretty much this entire run. She's caught them by herself. That 4 car looks really fast. I think she's on the right strategy. I think it's going to be the 4 of Cassidy Jones who pulls this one out and gets the win in Vegas. And those are your FanDuel favorites, as Freya von Lundqvist finally able to get clear of Estrada for the lead. But man, it took a while.
We've got a big group of cars here, and now, 42, 35, those teammates been working together all day. They're working together up at the front again.
I mean, there's 3 different Honda teams up in this group as well, because the 0 for Hokkaido Velocity, the 88 for RGB Racing, and the 25 for North Star. They all look very
in the
fast.
mix as well.
Yeah, with the 4. The only menu we don't see up here is Ford now, and that's only because of the 96's issue. Yeah, do you have a report on what happened down there with the 96?
We have the pit road now. Their entire team is scrambling to put that car into the hauler after that massive engine blow up on the back straightaway. The driver is arguably furious, and their team should be a little bit worried right now, considering they've had 2 engine failures within this race. So it's gotta be tense for the rest of that team.
Yeah, when we did receive an update, the 55 was in fact an engine failure. It was reports of a vibration coming from another team that got cross-communicated there. So 2 engine failures for Dark Horse Racing, something they're definitely going to want to have to take back to the shop and look at heading into next week.
Yeah, no, when you have multiple cars lose an engine, I mean, you start to wonder, like, did we do something wrong? Did we mess this up? And it could just be bad luck, or it could be that the engine builders just kind of messed up with all of that stuff, and gave them some faulty parts.
Yeah, I mean that was something we touched on earlier when the 16 was reporting that minor engine issue that put them off the pace. We talked about teammates potentially being concerned with their engines expiring as well, and we just saw it happen. 55 blows up. Laps later, we see the 96. We saw the 55 on the apron, found out it was an engine issue, and turns out the 96 had the same problem, and it was huge blow to that team. So.
And the only one other car left in the race is the 15 of Isabella Smith, because LaTanya Gray failed to qualify for this race in the 65 car. So Dark Horse Racing only had 3 cars make the field, as these cars get by the 11 of Takamoto Aya, who is going to go 2 laps down now.
It is that 15 in the standings right now in the race.
15 is currently 20th.
I mean, Dark Horse Racing came, put all their chips on the table, and right now they're leaving the casino with nothing. 2 cars blown up. One
That
car
happens when you go to Vegas.
running in 20th, and the other one didn't qualify. So, not a great weekend for Dark Horse Racing. Hopefully, their Cup team can pull something out, but yeah, definitely not what that team wants to see.
Yoko battling with Anderson and Von Lundquist, and the 42 looking inside. 3 wide.
42 chooses better. Chooses to back out there.
Hey, Cassidy Jones in the 4 car is now up to 4th. So once again, this 4 is running very well. I mean, you got to give a lot of praise to Cassidy Jones. Very young driver, not even 18 years old yet. And she's making a big mark already in this one.
Great performance from the kids so far. I mean, she's put together a really great showing, up to 4th right now, and doing this well, this young. I mean, it's you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see some great things coming from Cassidy Jones.
Yeah, and remember
maybe
as
even
well.
today.
Remember as well from her, she finished 2nd last week at Nazareth as well. And she got a top 10 at Daytona. Granted, I don't think she finished the race at Daytona, but only 7 cars finished that race, so.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing to really seal the deal would be a win, and she's looking for it today.
12 of Kennedy has really, really dropped off. I'm not sure what happened to her, but she is really falling back here.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something up with that car for sure.
What do you got, Geff, on the 12?
Even more problems with engines in this race. Another car has lost the motor. It is the 12 car, and it doesn't seem to be entirely a huge issue right now, but it could be a bigger issue later in this race. That could definitely affect their pace and even more their chances to win this race. But tough break for that number 12 team. They were fast all day.
Yeah, and
That's tough.
Again, we brought this up earlier. Golf racing, 16 had issues. Now the 12 with a similar issue.
It looks like the same issue.
Yeah, not a full engine failure, but something that knocks the car well off the pace. So stereo problems for 2 sets of teammates now. Maybe some, I don't know. The engine's definitely not having a great day here at Las Vegas.
And we've also gotten a report that the 95 of Cara Reynolds has also retired. So we'll catch up with you on that as soon as we have more info available on that one. But a lot of mechanical troubles in this one. Oh, and we have a car slow on the apron. That's the 44 of Lulu Connie.
Oh, she Looks like she might be exiting the pit lane, or no, she's just
No.
riding around on the apron right now. Looks like she's going to be able to cruise it back to pit lane. Because we're
Looks
also
like
going to
she'll
need an
nurse it
update on
back.
what's going on there.
What do you got, Geff?
And now I've just scrambled myself all the way to the 44 pit. So many teams are scrambling in the garage trying to figure out what's going on in these cars. The 44 now coming down pit road. Looks like to be a tire problem potentially for that. Definitely very different compared to what we've seen all day, but so many mechanical issues for these cars already. So it's just what I predicted. The heat is in the heat of this track is definitely messing with the engines, and it's and another car, the 81 is on pit road. Changing tires. Trying to get some information on it now, but I'll get back to you whenever I can.
Oh, wow. I mean, we keep
Tires,
seeing
engines, everything
everything is going
happening here
going up in
at
flames
Las
at the moment.
Vegas. I mean, we talked about tire wear, but this is a bit more than tire wear. These teams are dealing with tire problems. We saw it right at the right before the pit cycle started. We saw a car on pit road with a tire problem. Now we're getting towards the middle to end of this cycle, and we've got more cars on pit road with tires down. And I mean, engine problems galore all day. So this track is really taking a beating more to the cars than it is to the drivers.
Now, we're hearing the 95 retired with a piston issue, so sounds like that was another engine failure.
Another update on.
What do you got?
Another update on pit lane. Jeff, what do you got?
Got some news about the 81. The crew chief says there was a loose wheel on that 81. So close to our pit window, too, with about 30 laps to go. Definitely going to set them off cycle in a lap down or two, but definitely another way to put them off cycle and out of contention for this win for sure. But not like the 81 was already in contention to win, but now they're definitely out of contention to win.
Well, if you look at it, let's see. They pitted with 70 laps to go. That's about the fuel window, so they could theoretically make it to the end on fuel. Do I think they want to? No. But in theory, they could. So it'll be Krista Anderson out front. So it's still Krista Anderson out front in the 35 car. Van Lundquist, Yoko, Jones, Estrada make up the top 5. As we've been green since lap 15. We've been green for about 120 laps now. And it's starting to get to these drivers a little, I think.
Yeah. I mean, green since lap 15, but it's not to say we haven't had a lot of action happening both on and off the track. A lot of cars had to come down to pit lane for pit issues and for mechanical issues, I should say, had to come down to the pits. And yeah, this has been a real a track that's taken a real mechanical toll on a lot of these cars today.
Absolutely, and you hate to see that for all these teams that have worked so hard to build all these parts, and you know, one of them fails like that, and it just hurts. It just hurts everywhere.
To play on a positive side of this, though, I mean, with this being one of the more common style of racetracks, as was mentioned in the pre-race show, getting all these demons out early, getting all these problems, these kinks out early from these race cars, might be something that the teams can look at positively, just thinking, hey, these were the issues we had at Las Vegas, and we can use that to fix our intermediate car for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think that is something worth. Yeah, that is definitely worth looking at, because I mean, we already ran at kind of an intermediate in Nashville, but I don't know if Nashville's really the same kind of animal as Vegas is. These teams have just put in a lot of work, and with these cars being pretty much all new, I mean, This is pretty. This is fairly interesting to see how this one will play out with the reliability, but also like over the season, how these teams will get better with their reliability. Hey, shout out Vinny Schultz up back into 10th now. Remember she took the. Only 2 tires on that pit stop after the after the last yellow, and it hurt her there. But now over the longer run, she's starting to gain it back, and you're gonna see.
Recover.
You know, also what we're gonna see is that 44. We're gonna see the speed of those new tires. Look at that car dive it down through the corner.
That car is, yeah. Yeah, 62. I mean, with that 2-tire stop that we saw on that last caution, couldn't really show us what speed that car has. The amount of speed that they've been able to show now that they got 4 fresh tires on that pit cycle. You know, in the case that the field gets bunched up again, could be a front runner for this one. 44 still being held up by cars on older tires.
64 is down pit road, so is the 12. I guess they're finally looking at that issue on the 12. The 64 is already off cycle, so that stop is scheduled.
It's like 2 scheduled stops here. One to look at the 12's mechanical issues, like you just said, and then just an off-cycle tire stop from the 64.
So Anderson's still up front, then it's Yoko, then it's Van Lundquist and Jones that make up the top 4. Madison Estrada sits in 5th. Estrada led a good chunk earlier, but now Anderson out front in that 35 car. Again, Anderson, remember, she didn't make the race at Daytona, but ever since then, Anderson's run pretty well. Looking to make the biggest mark here in Las Vegas. As the top 3 all Nordic drivers, because we got 2 Danish drivers in Anderson and Valenquist, and a Finnish driver in Hieta Yoko up in 2nd. Battle for the 5th spot right here. A couple Hondas fighting. That's Kathy Ableton Perez against Madison Estrada. Right now, Estrada's going to hold that spot for now. And, oh, the 35 has had an engine issue from the lead.
And the engine bug strikes, and it's not just the cars in the middle of the pack.
Wow. Yeah, what's up? What's up down on pit road? 14 also on pit road. That appears to be
absolute chaos on the pit road for the 35 team right now. The team has no idea what's going on. The engine just let go on that 35, and they are going to try and fix it, but they'll likely be out of the race after that one. But absolute heartbreak from the lead for that 35 team.
Right on the pit cycle too. 22 you saw on pit road was a scheduled pit stop.
Looks like everybody's coming in for their scheduled stop. 14 car appears to have that one appears to be unscheduled for them. 4 car coming in right in front of them. 0 is in. Looks like the 88 of Madison Estrada is going to be scored the leader. She's going to stay out a little extra. And now she comes down pit road, and so does the 38 right behind. 24 of Johnson now in as well. Well, wow. I mean, that was a curveball and a half that just got
thrown. Way to turn the race on its head.
.35 loses an engine from the lead, and we'll have to see what happened to the 14 there. We'll have to try and catch up on that one.
The engine gods pull out their pocket ace and take another car out of this race. Unbelievable stuff.
I mean, it has just been absolutely no reliability for anybody. But right now, it's looking like Hieta Yoko out front. Geff, what do you have down on pit road?
If I had a nickel for every one of the pit stalls I've been to today, I'd have a full jar. I've been to pretty much every pit stall today because they've all had some kind of issue, and now the 14, who actually conveniently had their tire issue right before the pit road cycle started, they had a loose wheel as well, just like the 81 did. But they're back out on track now, although I believe they are quite off. Oh, caution is out on this track.
Whoa!
Whoa, big trouble.
Big stack up here in turn 3. The caution's out. Oh! The
More
64
cars,
and the 40.
40. Watch as other cars start to come through here.
Well, the 81 of Alice Hageman actually is scored as the leader right now. And that car, remember, she was off cycle. She had to come to pit road.
She's gonna come in.
And
Robin
she's coming
Brown's trying to
in
find
right
a way
here.
around.
I mean, 42's in.
Whoa.
Some of these cars are still racing back, I believe. 93 of Oberman with a lot of damage. Looks like the 88 of Estrada has some damage. Well, guess that green flag run can't last forever.
Another wrench in the works here.
So we'll go back and see what happened, but we are gonna get a restart in this one. We're gonna get another restart in this one. The 0 car is the leader, as the 81 came down pit road there. That caution really saved the 81 there. She would have probably gone a lap down, maybe more. If she had run the rest of the race on those tires. And
Where is the 15 going?
One's down. Alright, well. So 22 will take the wave around then. Uh, 15... 15, yeah, had some sort of issue there, so we'll see if we can follow up on that. All right, let's go back and let's go and see what happened. 44.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa.
88. Is that the 12?
Oh,
These two
yeah.
are racing. Oh yeah, the 88 gets into the 12. 12 slides through the infield.
As
almost
does
like-
the 88.
Whoa.
Whoa! Loses control on the pit lane. Flips
Oh,
the 88.
geez, Liz
Hard
Roberts.
shot for the 45.
Nothing for that 45 could do. And then these cars all pile in.
7's gonna go up and over
Upside down.
on top of the 2 car. Whoa. There's nowhere these guys could go, and 10's gonna pile into it. 26 gets a piece, so does the 44.
44, yeah. Couple cars kind of stacked up back here as well. The 40 and the 64 as well. The 40
40's
checked
slowing
up, and
down,
the 40 checked up, and the
64
64
doesn't.
couldn't slow up in time.
Weird incident.
Very odd. Well,
Very- parallels to the incident at Nashville, except this time the 12 really had no control over it. Car came off the grass, put the asphalt on pit lane, the grip just changed, and that car was on for a slide right back up into the field. Jeff, you got something else on pit road for us?
I got 2 updates for you guys. First, the 15. The 15's issue, they also conveniently had a loose wheel. Oh my god. And after the wreck that happened out of turn 2, I believe every driver has been released from the infield care center. Despite the big hits we saw in that wreck, especially with the 88, we did see everyone come out of the infield care center all right. So that's the update on that wreck as well.
They ran
Testament to this.
They ran an extra lap of caution as they were trying to wave around everybody.
That's a real testament to the safety of these race cars. A couple of those cars just flew right back up the track. Could have been a lot worse. I mean, the 12 got lucky that she just clipped the 88 and knocked a lot of speed off. As opposed to just coming up right in front of an oncoming car. But yeah, a lot of hard hits we saw there. We saw a car upside down. Wild race, and we still have just under 50 laps to go.
So Yoko will be the leader. The 81 was the first car off pit road. Then it will be the 42, 88, 26 to 44. That's those are all the drivers that are off in terms of who pitted. So we got about 9 drivers that chose to stay out on this caution. Everyone just came to pit road, so not sure how much of a benefit it will be pitting here, but we'll see what it ends up as. Green flag is back out. We're back to racing here in the late stages in Las Vegas.
Looking to the inside, that was probably up front early in this race. Sort of fell back on the pit cycles and the cautions. Now in 4th, 66, 25. I mean, this whole front group, still anybody's game, really.
88 is up here still.
Yeah.
Would you look at that? I mean, she's not particularly that off pace right now. So, I mean, shout outs to that 88 for being up here still, even after all that.
44 doesn't seem too off pace as well without a front end on that race car. Oh, maybe. Maybe everyone was just getting back up to speed, actually.
It could be. 0 of Yoko, though, still out front. The 38's challenging the 4 here, though. But to me, it's kind of fell back based on track position.
3 wide there for 4th.
Yeah, there goes Brackett along with Akuma and Ableton Perez. As Fitzmaurice fights with Cassidy Jones for 2nd. Hey, Vinny Schultz running in 7th right now in the 62 car.
I mean, we still got more than 10 cars in this lead group. All of them.
Oh, 0 car slipped a little bit. Here comes Cassidy Jones looking for the race lead. Drops back down.
38 tried to go down with a 4. 6 was already there. Almost pushed the 6 down into the grass through the tri-oval there.
I mean, what a lucky break for Alice Hageman on that last caution. She had that issue where she had to come down pit road for that tire issue. Got out, was leading the race, and the caution comes out just at the right time.
Ooh, a little contact
with the 4 and the 6. And Fitzmaurice is going to get a big run off turn number 2. Look at the 81 moving our way up through here.
Oh, there was some contact between the 24 and 42 there, coming off the corner. Luckily, nobody got turned around, but I mean, it was front bumper 42, back bumper 24.
55 still currently the 55 Deborah Williams still currently holds the NordVP on fastest lap. That's worth 1 bonus point to the championship if she can hang on to that for the rest of the race. Which, I mean, with how quickly the tires wear out here, that looks pretty likely.
At least one positive that the Dark Horse Racing team's going to be able to take away from today.
Yeah. At least can have something.
Yeah.
Hageman now up to 4th.
Yeah, that 81 team, it really got saved by that late yellow and making the most of it, for sure. I talk all the time about points, and that bonus point for the fastest lap could make the difference, and especially with the DNF today, 55 teams going to want to take whatever they can get. So
38 looks to the inside for the race lead. Here comes Isabella Fitzmaurice. She's going to take it away. 38 car now out front.
38 clears 4, looking high through the trioval here.
Zero crossed her over.
Down low, we got a battle going on for the lead here.
38's going to get a
top.
huge run up the high side. Look at the 81 of Hageman down low.
That's for P2. 66, car we haven't really talked about all day. In contention,
Jet Brackett
top
started
5.
second. Haven't really talked about her very much, though, outside of that. Jones looking to get that run up top. And I mean, still, Madison Estrada running 12th right now. Pretty solid run for her. Isabella Smith in the 15. She's up to 13th now.
I mean, a few of those cars that were involved in that wreck, managing to hang on here.
And there's Lux Akuma fighting with Freya van Lundqvist.
Approaching the 31 lap car now. Top 2 go low, so does the 81, top 3.
That looks like they'll be able to get through fairly all right.
Slows up before.
'81 looking inside for the second spot. I mean, if you're Hageman, you're going to try to make as much work as you can of these tires because you just got those. You want to do as much as you can with them.
I'm the 38, I'm thinking just block. I mean, we've got one of the fastest race cars all day behind you in the 0 car.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the long run speed, which I think is an issue that that 38 team's been struggling with, you want to be able to sort of transfer that lack of long run speed onto the car behind you. So it's going to be a blocking game for Isabella Fitzmaurice. Race far from over here.
Brackett fighting with Jones for the 4th spot.
How about Vinny Schultz, 62 car?
Yeah, how about Vinny? Doing a great job up here.
Goes all the way down low. She's looking to get past both of these cars.
Yeah, as you look down there, as the 0 also looked down to try and make a move for the lead, but
It's nice to
hang
making
on to
that
it.
top lane work. 81 now looking for second on the inside.
Schultz, ooh, could not get clear of the 66.
Currently in P5, but yeah, gonna want to get clear there. She's going to now, unless the 66. Oh, 66 has a run on the outside.
What a pull by the 66 up top, and
Crossover. Zero's gonna go
Yoko
top to
also
bottom.
did that. Yoko
Huge
also got that
run.
run. Tries to dive to the bottom. .38 holds that line though, just so well.
38's been really good on the top lane. Something that Zero's going to have to try and figure out how to take advantage of. Take advantage of one of your opponent's strengths. Turn it into a weakness. Again, Zero with a run down low. Has help from the 81.
Zero gonna try. See, the thing is, if you're gonna make that move stick on the bottom, you really gotta dive it into one. And Yoko just could not get it down there enough. And
81
here
now.
comes the 81.
Gonna be going down low thinking, if you're not going to send it, I will. This is reeling 4 and the 66 in. And I mean, if you're the 38, that's what you want to see in your mirror, is the cars behind you fighting it out instead of fighting you.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, I think if you're the 38, you're just trying to maintain the gap. I think you know that these cars are gonna get the draft on you here. You just want to try and be a little bit smooth. .81 looks low on the zero again.
Has car behind him to help, but that's nothing.
Zero's gonna
with a
get the run.
Try to inside
Into
turn 3 and 4
three.
this time.
The 38 just rolls the top so well. Now the 81's looking outside of the zero. And crossed over. I mean,
It's a run. Zero tried to shut the door, but
Zero had to check up there. 81 got a good pull. Zero's gonna
can she get clear in the
hold on the
tri-oval?
gonna try to hold on the outside though.
81's clear.
81's clear. But Zero's gonna have some momentum.
Zero crosses over. Top
This
to
is
bottom
some
out of
great
two.
battling between these two. 81's gonna try to pinch the zero down in the corner.
81 held it better than the Zero did last lap. They're going to be side by side on the front straightaway. Nice 66.
66 3 wide.
Looking low.
And backed out.
Now backs out of it. Smart decision with these worn tires. 3 cars trying to squeeze into 2 lanes. Not a great idea.
And these two are still side by side. And the
81 looks
81
like she might get clear here.
finally gonna hang on here. Finally gonna get the advantage. And I mean, Hageman had a very dominant car at Nashville, but got involved in an incident coming off pit road and was not able to finish it out. And Yeda Yoko is not letting her get away easy. That zero car keeps giving her guff here. And now look at what kind of run that gave the 81 on the 38 here.
Only 3 laps to go. They're still fighting up front here. We got 2 lap cars side by side in front of the leaders.
Yeah, that's not going to help them at all. Who even is that? Oh, that's the 16 and the 2.
The lap car cluster approaching here. We got 2 of them here, and then a bit further ahead, we've got like 3 more.
6 of Luxakuma doing a dive on the 4 of Cassidy Jones. Here comes the 0, looking underneath the 81.
38 tried the inside on both lap cars at the same time. Loses a bit of time, had to check up. Oh, they squeezed and they got a contact. And
Contact
now,
between the 16 and the 38, but 38 got through
81
that a
gets
lot
held
cleaner.
up. It looked like a lot of time lost for second place, but definitely
You know
got
what
held
that
up
did
the
bring in
flyover.
though? That brought in the 16 holding them up, brought in the 66 of Jet Brackett. That's a teammate to Azelhart. So that's just some food for thought. As well, the 2 of Ramos has her teammate Kathy Hamilton Perez in this group. In the 25 car.
Probably back together again.
0 looking underneath the 81.
Next lap car ahead. Who is that?
31.
Less than
That's
20
the
laps to
really
go
slow
here.
one.
Just out of curiosity, how many laps down is 31?
6.
6. Not as many as I thought.
That's not too bad, yeah. I think this one might come down to the 38 and the 81 though. Those two look like those two look like the ones to beat right now.
38 again catches the lap car entering turn 3 there. This time, second place isn't going to be held up off of turn 4.
One's getting a big run though.
Where does she put that run?
Whoa,
Goes down
look at there she
low.
goes. Looking to
Lap
the
car
inside.
incoming.
But Fitzmaurice gets the pull up top.
Fitzmaurice has been strong up top, but it's no matter where the lap car goes, I think.
And here's an interesting
Boy,
battle.
Boy's
That's
right
Schultz
there.
and Jones fighting for the 7th spot. 62, I think, is going to get that. And they're going to have to pass the 44 of Lulu Connie now.
Ooh, not making it easy for the 81. Reels the 0 back
Trying to
into
bring
this.
in the other Honda that's in this. That's Kieta Yoko.
15 laps left in this race.
This one's getting tight. Closer we get to the finish. It's a 3-car race for the win here, though, I think. I think it'll be between these 3. The 38, 81, and 0. Kind of pushes kind of gives the 38 a little push into the corner.
Iron might try the apron again. Like a similar line to when she tried to pass on the inside before. Nope, she's gonna follow the 38. This time goes
Looked high.
high.
I think she's trying to just build up that kind of run down the back. Here she goes.
Down low, 0's there as well.
0's giving her the push through. 38 can't hold as well on the top side. 81's gonna have it exiting the corner.
38's not gonna be able to cross down low with a run either because the 0's right there.
Yeah, but can the 38 get the run up high and try and pull back alongside the 81? That's what she's gonna have to do. She's not gonna have the room to do it. And Hageman now out front.
Okay. The start finish line this time, it is
our, oh, never mind.
Oh, no.
Is it?
It's 11.
Yeah, it's our Windows 11 to go. And 11 laps at Las Vegas. Not as long as, say, last week's 11 laps left at Bathurst, but still a pretty important final 11 laps here in this one.
38 looks like she's got a run. Not sure where she's going to put it. Maybe the 0 has a run.
And look at who's just kind of lurking back here right behind these cars. Just kind of lurking here.
66.
It's Jet Bracket in the 66. She's just here. Just kind of waiting. And the 6 is being held up by the 44 quite a bit. That's going to get the 25 out into 5th now.
The run for the 0 car. Down low on the 38.
Zero really drove well through the middle of the corner. But the 38 got the great run off.
Clear.
And the 38, is Fitzy going to try to get down to the bottom? No, not
I think
quite.
the run came
Oh, now she goes
maybe.
for it.
I was going to say, I think the run came a little too early, but to the inside of the 81. Can the 81 hold on the outside? Lap car approaching.
There's going to be a lapper. Yep, that's Shizzy Min in the 46.
0 looking low.
Not able to do anything with it. Teammates battling here. That's Von Lundquist and Schultz fighting
7
for
laps
6.
left.
And now the 81's going to try and get by this lapper in the 46. I think the only real other lapper that I might have a chance of getting to is the 26 of Morales. It's looking for momentum. 6 laps to go.
No, yeah, 6 to go. That's right. I said 7 last time. I thought I said 6 last time. I didn't.
Fitzmaurice to the
Looks
inside.
to the inside.
She's got a great run off too. Ooh, she's gonna get the pole.
Gonna have the advantage, but the 81 might get a run off the corner here. Through the trioval, they're gonna be neck and neck
Dead even
across
at
the line.
And here
Look at the
comes
0.
Yoko looking 3 wide.
Yoko tried 3 wide, decided not to. Slots in behind the 38.
38
and the
got a
38 clear
great-
for the lead.
Great run through 1 and 2 on the inside for Fitzmaurice.
Still side by side. Fitzmaurice is gonna clear for the lead.
81 lets
Yoko
off.
looking for second. The 4 to go here.
0 pulls alongside now.
I don't know if they're gonna catch Morales in time. It might be down to like the last lap, but 81 got a decent run off the corner. See if she can try and get back to the lead off that past the 38 because she's running out of time to do it. Just over 3 laps left here at Las Vegas.
It'll be 3 to go when we cross the line here. As our width of the grass, that looks like the 88 of Estrada who's come down pit road.
Oh, missed. I don't
Did
know
she not have enough fuel to get to the end? Ooh, that might be,
what splash of fuel, but it looked like she missed pit lane or something.
yeah.
Big dust cloud.
Two laps to go.
Did catch the 26.
We're going to get to the 26 here. The 38 used that to try to get a little bit of a draft to get ahead.
Morale is actually going to come down between the 38 and 81.
Hageman's got to push.
And
Hageman's got to really push on this last lap.
yeah, it's a big gap to try and fill to get there.
Oh,
Oh,
26.
when Morales
Okay.
also has to come in, misses pit lane. White flag in the air.
Last lap. Hageman's 4/10 back.
And she get to Fitzmaurice.
I
She's going
don't-
to have one shot in 3 and 4 if she can.
I don't think she's close enough. Isabella Fitzmaurice in the 38 car, gonna come off turn 4, and Izzy Fitzmaurice wins in Las Vegas at the FanDuel Sportsbook 300. Oh, the 62 ran out. Oh no, the 62 had an issue.
Oh.
Well, that's a tough break for Schultz to have a mechanical issue on the last lap. So Isabella Fitzmaurice with the race victory here.
Really tight battle to finish off this race. I mean, that was exciting for the entirety. But that last 50 lap run is especially really, really tight. 38 came from, she was probably in like 20th at some point this race, came back to the front, managed to pull out a win.
Yeah, she dropped back during the middle of the race, but
Hats go off to everybody who ran in that front pack at the end of the race. What a show.
that was a great battle at the end. Absolutely stellar race. What a great show. I mean, this track put on another great race, and maybe the finish wasn't the greatest, but I still found that as a great race and a great entertaining battle at the end.
We got the Cup cars here tomorrow, right?
Yeah, the Cup cars are going to be here tomorrow, and that race is sure to be great as well. So we're gonna send you down to our FanDuel fan studio for our post-race recap of this one, and yeah, Rashi, Geff, what do you two have for us here at the end of this one?
What in the world happened in that second half of the race? That was an event, I think, that definitely occurred. I think you were on pit road for most of that, Jeff. How were you reacting to all that?
Honestly, I'm surprised they lasted as long, like racing for the lead pretty much the entire race. Like I thought towards the end, like before that caution, I thought we were gonna have at least like 3 or 4 drivers break out in their own little group and just like lead for the entire race. But we had a big group towards the end, and we had about 5 or 6 still battling for the lead towards the end of the race. Technically, it was about 3, but like we had it like spread out a little bit more than what it was. But we still had a pretty decent chunk of drivers battling towards the win.
Yeah, a decent pack of cars were battling it out for the win there. It kind of got split with the lap cars over time, but yeah, for most of that final run, we had about 7 to 10, almost 10 cars. I think it was 9 or so cars actually that were in that kind of mix. Kind of broke away from the rest of the field there. Interesting to see some fuel concerns at the very end of the race there. I mean, we thought that cars were going to be pretty good on fuel. They came in pretty comfortably in, but I think some cars may have under fueled just a little bit. I think we saw the 26 come in right in front of the cameras there, and I think the 88 had a similar issue, which yeah, definitely a bit of an oddity there at the end.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like some teams were overconfident on their pit road strategies tonight.
Yeah, potentially they may have been trying to just kind of fuel up just enough to make it to the end of the race, but they kind of fell 1 or 2 laps short, which is definitely a shame for them. But still okay results for those, or at least the 88 and 26. Both of them got a top 20 at least. But yeah, no, And I will say, very good race for Isabella Fitzmaurice, Hageman, and Hiera Yoko. All three of them had a great race. I definitely think all three of them could have been contenders for the end there. I think if either any of them won, I don't think I think any of them would have been worthy winners for this race.
Well, that's our little recap of tonight's event. We'll take it back to our
Wait,
studio.
hang on. There's one more. Actually, I was gonna say there's a couple more drivers I wanted to point out.
Go ahead.
I was just going to point out the 25 of Kathy Ableton Perez. Great rebound for them. That's a team that's been struggling in points. Another one of those North Star teams have been trying to claw their way back up, sitting at 10 points entering this race, getting a top 5. So that's a lot of needed points for that team. That's another North Star team that kind of dragging themselves out of that hole. And and also another good result for Casper von Weber and the 84 team. I think that Uberman Enterprises garage has been a little bit they've been stung by a lot of bad luck to start the season. So just a nice solid race for them, I think, is a good showing. We're gonna have to probably take a look at what happened to the 62 later on. I think that'll be something to come to investigate later on there. But that was a odd, kind of unfortunate timing for a tire to go down right at the very end.
Yeah,
Not sure if you had the time to talk to the crew there, because that happened right at the end. Probably were already making your way up to the studio for that.
They were not happy with that finish whatsoever, especially with that tire going down on the last lap. Obviously, the whole crew is frustrated with that, but they know they can just move on to next week and know that whatever happens. It's how what this league is sorting out. It seems that things just kind of happen like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, considering they ended up, just kind of like pulling up from the race from that issue, I think it's somewhat fortunate that it happened at the end of the race, given that we've definitely had our share of attrition once again here. That was definitely a belter, that second pit cycle. A lot of cars falling off there.
I think that's about it of our recap so far. We'll take it back to our leads, and thank you for watching tonight.
Yeah, interesting race, Liam. I mean, top 3 finished under a second of each other. It was a great battle at the end, all the way through the end. We had just a absolutely really fun race. I mean, we had those couple of issues early on, but for the most part, we ran green flag racing throughout, and I think that's what people want to see. I think people want to see a lot of green flag racing, and they want to see just a lot of fun activities around these teams. So
yeah, I mean, only 3 cautions this race, so a lot of green flag racing for the fans to see. Great showing, top to bottom. And I mean, the technical aspect, all those mechanical failures, whether it was tires or engines, we saw all the way to the end. Vinny Schultz blowing a tire on the last lap. I mean, just wild race all the way around. So yeah, that was great.
And I have to thank everyone for tuning into this one and showing up, and we'll be back tomorrow for the Cup race here from Las Vegas. It will be the FanDuel Sportsbook 400. Cindy Arariston will start on pole tomorrow in the number 32 car. For Isabella Fitzmaurice and the Ozark Motorsports team, how do you think they're going to take that? How do you think they're going to take this win today into tomorrow's race? Considering Ozark is a team that is in the Cup Series, they have a couple drivers with Hackman and Reister who haven't had the best start to the season, but how do you think they're going to take this win into tomorrow?
I mean, it's going to be a lot of strategy. This race, obviously a bit shorter, but you can, even with how different the Cup car and the Continental car are, you can really use the pit strategy from this race and sort of figure out when the best times to come in are, based on when everyone else is coming in on the pit cycle. as well, just trying to capitalize on that top lane. We saw that was part of the reason why Isabel Fitzmaurice found her way back to the front. A lot of cars were too focused on trying to get runs on the bottom. If you can lock in a run on the top lane, I think you can sort of get a lot more done here. I mean, we saw the same thing with the Cup cars at Calder Park when we had cars figuring out that the inside lane was a bit stronger, and they managed to get runs going there. If someone can get a run going on the outside, I think you can use that to your advantage, and you can use that to maybe win tomorrow.
Well, it'll be very interesting to watch the race tomorrow. I'll thank you all for joining me tonight. And on behalf of Data, Geff, Liam, Rasha, and myself, I'm Echo. Thank you guys for watching here from Vegas. We'll see you.